On both Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at Musaf, before we start the Avodah on Yom Kippur and the Psukim of Malchuyot, Zichronot and Shofarot on Rosh Hashanah, we have a piyut, a poem, which is recited traditionally by the Shaliach Tzibur, by the Chazan. Ochilah lakel achalef fanav, ish ala mimenu ma'aneh lashon. I shall await Hashem, I shall entreat His favor. May I ask Him to grant eloquence to my tongue. Asher bikhal am ashira uzo, abia rananot ba'ad mif'alav. So that in the midst of the congregation, I shall give song to His strength. I shall explain rananot in joyous melodies ba'ad mif'alav, on behalf of all His creations. And then the psukim from Mishlei and Tehillim respectively. La'adam ma'archei lev u'mei Hashem ma'aneh lashon, Hashem sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. That man has thoughts in his heart to arrange, but ultimately u'mei Hashem ma'aneh lashon, that the eloquence of speech comes from God. Hashem sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. O God, may you open my lips, and may my mouth recite your praises. This piyut is sung as right before the most important part of the davening on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at Musaf. But really it's an expression for how we feel throughout this time of the year. We have so many thoughts in our heart, la'adam ma'archei lev. And the question is, how do we express ourselves? How do we stand before HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the Yamim Noraim, both in the period before with Slichot, but also throughout this period? And Umei Hashem ma'aneh lashon, the understanding that ultimately the eloquence of speech is granted to us by Hashem. And as a result, we daven that Hashem should help us take everything we have in our minds and in our hearts and translate that into a proper and meaningful tefillah. When we look at that pasuk from Mishlei, La'adam ma'archei lev u'mei Hashem ma'aneh lashon, the Midrash comments on that pasuk and says, what does it mean, Me Hashem ma'aneh lashon, that God holds eloquence of tongue? Says the Midrash l'hodiacha, this comes to show you, Shahakol miyad Hashem, everything is in God's hands. Lo min ha'adam, a man has no ability to affect it. Lo machshevet halev v'lo dibur lashon, neither the thoughts of our heart nor the speech of our tongue is really in our hands. Shne'emar, as it says, Umei Hashem ma'aneh lashon. Even though we think we have ma'archei lev, we think la'adam ma'archei lev, but ultimately, if Me Hashem ma'aneh lashon, if the ability to express ourselves and talk eloquently before Hashem is up to God, then even the thoughts in our minds and hearts mean nothing if we don't have the ability to express them. Ultimately, if God holds the keys to ma'aneh lashon, to eloquence of speech, then our ma'archei lev mean nothing without His help. And therefore we turn to Hashem and we say, Hashem sfatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. We have all these feelings, these emotions in our minds and in our hearts. God, just open our lips and help us give your praise. And in the beautiful words of the other explanation offered in the Midrash, Kol Adam sheshofech tchinato lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, hu noten lo ma'aneh lashon. As long as we try, we shofech our tchina, we pour out in our supplication before Hashem, He will grant us ma'aneh lashon. Hashem sevatai tiftach ufi yagid hilatecha. God, may you open my lips so that my mouth will recite your praises.